What's up, y'all? We are back. Fight Court. I'm Dean Thomas. I got my man, as always, the one and only Ryan Quinn. It's another slow week. We are still all kind of biting at the chops for some fights to happen. But
UFC action.
Yeah, some UFC action. Well, there's fights all the time.
Yeah.
UFC action, I guess. But the combat world has still been kind of good to us. They gave us RAF, Real American Freestyle. And you was in attendance.
How was
the show last night?
It was great. It was absolutely great. I really wanted to go. I've known Steve Mocco a long time. Really wanted to see him compete. It was really awesome seeing him compete. He didn't get the win, but it was really cool because I know his kids. I know his family a very long time. And when his kids were really young, I was coaching them in wrestling. And they're both absolute studs now, state champions, national champions. And they were in his corner. They were his coaches during his match. And it was so cool to see that. It was just awesome. But overall, the event was fantastic. I think that really does have some life to it. I know in past events, especially at Emirates Bank Arena, whenever they're doing stuff like when they did the bare knuckle boxing and everything, it doesn't get off. And you could tell that the crowd wasn't people who were just given tickets to be there. They were into the matches. And I got to be honest with you, when I first heard about RAF, I was very critical. I was like, they tried this with Real Pro Wrestling, but I realized why this is going to succeed where Real Pro Wrestling did not. First of all, Real Pro Wrestling, I thought it was a great idea. However, at the time, especially where the popularity of combat sports just wasn't there in 2005. And the people they had on, world-class wrestlers, some of them were Olympic hopefuls, some of them were collegiate All-Americans, but at the end of the day, you didn't know who any of those people were. And it's a shame because they were such good athletes, especially a bunch of them had great MMA careers, namely King Mo. He won the Real Pro Wrestling, and then he had a fantastic MMA career. But now what RAF is doing, they're getting there's popularity amongst wrestling where we know who these wrestlers are. Like Kyle Dake was on the card, Jordan Oliver. And then they have these UFC superstars on the cards who can wrestle. Some of them, Luke Rockhold was on the card. He did all right against Kobe, but we knew that match was going to go the way it went. But I could see you could really clash the worlds now of a world-class wrestler to a good wrestler for MMA, and we could see it. Would love to see if they ever get Islam Makhachev on one of those, although I can't see it happening anytime soon. But I think it's a great event. I think it's great for wrestling, great for combat sports. And yeah, I'm looking forward to more of it.
Yeah, first thoughts off the bat is I'm wondering how they're going to be able to sustain it. And not because I don't think they can, but I'm just wondering what inside their head their formula is in terms of sustainability and longevity. But they seem to be getting off to a good start. I don't know what they're paying the guys. That's a little alarming. That's a little alarming because I can't imagine Luke Rockhold and Colby and Arman and these guys. And what they don't understand, if they're not doing it for not a lot of money, they're going to bleed the company and it's not going to last.
Bingo. I thought the same thing. I was like, it has to be enough that it's worth it, but it can't be too much.
That's the hard part about business. Mm-hmm. And I always used to tell people this. They were like startup companies. Like t-shirt companies, startup companies. Like, man, we want to get some guys to wear our stuff. I go, man, that's great because it will help to have high level guys wear your stuff, but they're going to charge you so much that it's not going to be worth it. Like if you got homies that can wear it for free, that helps. But dudes ain't going to pay to pay a guy, $20,000 to wear your shirt. You're never going to be able to recoup that. But and that's what alarms me about this show is that I'm hoping that they don't get bled out by the high level names that they got but that's the cost of business.
Yeah,
that is the cost of business. I haven't watched the match, but I watched some clips, and when a takedown happened, the crowd was into it. So there was one match that actually I went back and started paying attention to, and that was the Muggsy and the Georgie. The Puyas kid, the kid who take me down for $1,000. And I thought that was an interesting match. Mm-hmm. There was a story behind that because I think they had some beef because they're internet guys and they had a little beef between the two.
I didn't even know that. I knew the story of the takedown challenge, but I didn't know his name or anything like that.
but the other guy's pretty popular online as well in terms of his marketability because he never really wrestled at a high level, but he markets wrestling in a way that no one else does, and he talks about how he can make money doing this. But anyway, so like that was an interesting story. So I think they're doing a good job of creating a balance in the stories being told with the event, the same way the UFC does, in
Yeah.
terms of some real matches, some real guys, some names, some stories. And I think they did a really good job of that. But my question is, how much are you paying these guys? Because if you're paying guys like Arman, like if these guys are like I want 50 grand, man, you're gonna bleed them.
Yeah. I 50 grand, I think, is a lot of money for that. But on top of that, too, I'm really interested, like, well, not interested. My wife actually brought up a good point, and I didn't even think of it until she said it. The UFC is allowing them to go out and wrestle, and I was like, yeah, like I was, things could happen in a wrestling match, and that was a little surprising. I mean, I know they let them grapple too, so I guess as long as they're not fighting, but that's interesting. So it's a risk for them as well, so they got to get paid to take that risk.
It will come with some restrictions, though,
Mhm.
depending on who they're
Yeah,
wrestling and everything. I think um, like a guy like Armin can go out there and wrestle Lance Palmer for sure.
yeah,
With Brady was going to go against Oliver Taza a couple of weeks ago. He ended up getting hurt, but the UFC was going to allow him to do that with no leg locks, of course. Um,
yeah,
Karate
yeah, yeah.
Combat had a couple matches that they wanted to do, but the UFC scratched it because they were in the same weight class. Like the UFC won't allow you to compete
Uh-huh.
against somebody that you will
Right.
compete against in the UFC. So it
Okay.
does come with some stipulations. They are pretty fair, but they're not going to just let you have, complete reigns over who you can
Yeah.
grapple and do another combat sport against.
Well, that puts a next to one of the thoughts I had. Like you said, how does this have life? And I was thinking, it's wrestling. They could totally do a Grand Prix where they have a round of 16 and a 16-man tournament where the round of 16 and the quarterfinals are one night and the semifinals and the finals are a month later. Um, but if that's going to happen, then a UFC versus UFC would happen at some points, and then that probably won't happen unless they are confident that they have enough stars and one UFC fighter in that bracket or something like that. It's not out of the question, I guess. It's just they probably wouldn't be able to do it right now.
I tell you what, though, I think one of the bigger storylines of the night was of the weekend actually was Bo Nickel. Man,
Yeah.
is his stock just plummeting? It's almost like he can't make a good decision.
So why didn't he say like I don't know his explanation, but I at first glance I was like I don't doubt like he didn't take the another match outside. He was offered somebody else except for Yoel, and I was like, he's taking a risk. He's a fighter. What was his explanation? I didn't see what it was.
He he was like, "Yo, Yoel came in 7 pounds overweight."
Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
but oh, so he just didn't take that match. I thought he was offered a second match
I
too.
don't know if he was
Yeah.
even offered another match. They gave another match to
Uh,
Yoel,
Yeah. A
so
heavyweight.
yeah. So, but he didn't take this match because Yoel. He was like, if it was in striking distance, I'm like, how much? How much were you allowed to get? Were you willing to give a 48-year-old dude?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, if that's the case, then yeah. He just
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
take the match.
like just he should have took the match, man.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a wrestling match.
Yeah.
It's a wrestling match. It's not, and that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying about this organization. I think this organization should be fun, especially those type of matches. Like they
Yeah.
should be more fun. Like Bo Nichols should just go out there and be having fun,
Yeah.
make a little money, keep his name out there, and just be having fun. It would have been good for his brand if he went out and beat Yoel Romero, which he was capable of doing probably. I mean, and then turns out Yoel gets tech falled. It's like, like
Yeah. It makes it look even
it
worse. I
didn't
thought of
look
that
good.
too.
It
Mhm.
did not look good for Bo. The fact that he didn't take this match because Yoel didn't make weight. I'm like
Hmm.
Yoel's like 50 years old. It's like I know what he just did to Pat Downey, but come on, man.
Yeah. He could have taken the match. Yeah. I didn't I thought that he was offered another match, that he just said no. So I'm like, yeah,
I
I
think
could.
they might have offered him Pat Downey actually,
Oh,
and he said
really?
no. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
not a good look for him, man. And like the whole weekend wasn't good for him. The fact that Colby and Luke just ganged up on him and pummeled
yeah.
him.
Yeah. Colby went after him. Yeah, I bet they're trying to set up that one too. I could see that one come. Well, they're both in the UFC ish. Um, I could see that one down the road. But
Colby
but
won't
yeah,
do that.
you don't think so?
No. Colby, I think Colby knows better. Colby knows how to play his cards better. That
Hmm.
he's sitting in a better spot to be able to talk about Bo because like he's accomplished a lot more. So he can talk
Smaller.
about Bo. Yeah, he
Mhm.
can talk about Bo, but he'll never give Bo the opportunity to be better than him.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
Bo would beat him in a wrestling match.
Yeah. Bo's people forget just how nasty Bo is. We got to see
Yeah.
more Bo wrestling.
Yeah, Bo would beat him in a wrestling match. So Kobe's better off just sitting on the side and riding off of his accolades and just pissing on Bo from above him and not allowing him to get a chance to get it back.
Even if Bo took the match against Yoel and it was a good match, the stock is cool. You know, people are riding high on Yoel right now after the Pat Downey match.
Yeah, man. I mean, he should have just took like, and that's what makes me think like I don't know if it was enough money, but who advised him not to do it? Like I'm not sure, but man, he should have took the match because it would have just been better for his brand to go out and beat Yoel or even lose in a good match to Yoel.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fact that he didn't take that after complaining about like not being main event and stuff, like it's just like, man, that was a
Yeah,
piss
he's got
poor
to stop with
decision.
that.
Yeah,
You
piss
got to
poor
stop with
decision.
that. Got to stop with the main event stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and it's his stock is just to me, people are not going to like him. And
Mhm.
like and we always think, oh man, well, it's better that they don't like you, but there's a cost in that too. Like sometimes people they're just fed up with, they don't want to even see you fight.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not going to take you serious.
look at Kobe. Like, I mean, he's lost what, his last three in the
Yeah.
UFC? Mhm.
And no one really cared. No one's really clamoring to see him fight. No one's
Yeah,
really like, no dudes don't even call him out no more.
yeah. They're happy to see him wrestle.
Yeah, it was hard
Mhm.
to see him just wrestle against Luke Rockhold just because like it was two names, but no one is even really calling him out anymore.
Yeah. Someone did fairly recently. Uh, it was someone on, I don't know. Well,
Maybe Mike Chiesa.
there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that says it all right there. I don't even remember the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. So to me, that was the biggest storyline to me was the whole Bo Nickel
Mhm.
fiasco, just not handling that whole moment well, just
Yeah.
getting obliterated by Kobe and Luke Rockhold the day before, and then not taking the fight,
Look at
not
those
taking
two in cahoots.
the wrestling match against Yoel Romero. I mean, man, was that just a terrible weekend for him.
Look at those two in cahoots, Kobe and Luke.
I know. I didn't get a chance to see it, but a buddy of mine who is not he's not even a wrestler actually said that it was he said the production was good. It was
Very good.
entertaining, and yeah, I'm hoping it can stick around. But we've seen all this stuff before come and go. It's just again, fighters end up bleeding the organization.
Yep.
They just they just require too much money.
Well, I'm excited about it. Hopefully, people lean into the actual wrestlers as part of it, and we get some of those wrestler versus UFC matchups still, and it grows. I'm excited about it.
Well, no, I'm not. No, I
I,
don't really care to see
I'm
that.
what?
I don't really care to see like these Olympic ladder wrestlers beating up on UFC guys.
I was thinking more like American collegiate wrestlers that
Oh,
like that were it's a little yeah. I mean, we're not a world some Bulgarian world champion. Like I'm not
yeah,
talking about that.
yeah, like because these guys are like, oh, I want to fight John Jones or I want to fight.
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't really care to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to see that, but I don't mind seeing two UFC guys going at it,
Yeah.
wrestling, or Bilal going at it with another UFC guy. But to put that, I mean, it's almost like UFC BJJ. Like, no one wants to see Mitchell go in there and get destroyed, right?
Mm-mm.
So put him in there against another UFC guy.
Michael Chandler, well, he had like three call outs. He was out there. He talked about wrestling Eddie Alvarez. I'm cool with that. I'd like to see that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool. Like
yeah.
that'll be fun to watch.
Mhm.
But I don't want to see Michael Chandler go up against Bo Bassett.
No. Yeah. Yeah, neither.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know if they're in the same weight class, but I don't want to see that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. So what else you want to dig into today?
Well, so I wanted to dig into Arman Tsarukyan competed last night. Obviously,
Mhm.
did very well against
He did.
Lance Palmer. But I just kind of wanted to touch up on this whole thing. I've been hearing all these different stories and theories as to why he didn't get the title shot. So I kind of really wanted to just revisit that again and just state my case on that maybe one last time as to why
I'm down with that.
Tsarukyan didn't get this title shot. Because I think people are forgetting, what we're doing here. Everybody tries to lean into whatever they think it is and create these stories behind it. And they go, oh man, the UFC's turning into WWE. It's supposed to be the best versus the best. And the first thing that you have to understand here when we talk about the best and putting the best in these positions, or the most popular, or the trash talkers, let's be very clear here. We're talking about top 5 guys, regardless of the situation. Mm-hmm. We didn't bring back Mike Perry to have him fight for the belt because he's a better trash talker. We're not allowing Trevor Peek to fight for a title because he's super exciting. We're talking about still top 5 guys. We're still talking about Justin Gaethje. We're still talking about Paddy Pimblett. These are top 5 guys. And we're talking about Arman Tsarukyan, another top 5 guys. So I'm sure that when they're in this board meeting as to who's going to fight for this title, they're not looking outside of that to just bring in the most exciting guy. They're still picking from guys that are top 5 and the best of the best. And when they made this decision, they said they were thinking ahead. On Sunday morning, what fight has the potential to have people still around the water cooler talking? And when I say people, I'm talking about new people that has never seen it before. What fight will do that? And again, I go back to Sunday morning after Hamzat and Dricus du Plessis. What was everybody talking about? They weren't talking about how exciting it was. They were talking about how boring it was. Mm-hmm. And I go back to Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena on Sunday morning. The narrative wasn't, wow, that was an exciting main event. It absolutely was not. And I'm not knocking Islam or Hamzat because what they did is incredibly difficult. And they're the best of the best in the world, pound for pound, the best in the world. But it didn't have people buzzing about their performance. When the UFC was trying to make this fight, the last thing they wanted to do was put a guy in the main event that has the same style as the guys that had the world going, man, those guys are boring. The UFC had to go with Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje because on Sunday morning, that has the potential to have us still talking about how great of a fight that was or some holy shit moment that happened in that fight, more so than what Arman Tsarukyan was going to give us.
Dana kind of let his guard down when he was asked this question at the last press conference. And I think it helped the case. And it's stuff that we've talked about before. And he said, we've given him his shot. Well, we gave him a shot and he wasn't able to show up regardless of the details. And of course, I'm summarizing, but when you have your shot, you need to take it for us. We need to know we could trust you. And I'm summarizing, and I think that I thought he explained it well. And on top of that, I think that, first of all, it's always the UFC, the MMA faithful that are the ones on Twitter and shit like that talking and everything. And I think it's so much, it's not even that they want to see Arman get this. They still don't believe in Paddy. And every time Paddy has a fight where it's going to boost his stock, they believe there's some loophole to why he improved. And I think because it's not just this, it's this too. Boop, boop, and I think that it's because it was Paddy that got the shot, because Paddy's the one in the position that people are hating on it.
I get that too, man, because I'm not convinced in Paddy. I can look at Paddy's record in his fight progression and find holes. Yeah. And look at it and come up with different excuses as to why he won a little easier, right? When you talk about Bobby Green, King Green rather. Yeah. King Green, he jump guard, put a triangle armbar, put him to sleep, right? It wasn't, and then who else was it? Then it was Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler at this point had a terrible fight, didn't fight all that great. He's hasn't won a fight in years. So there's obviously a lot of asterisks you can put next to Paddy Pimblett for sure. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he's still undefeated in the UFC. And he's still the kid that walks out when he walks out. And everybody's going, oh, Paddy the baddie.
Yeah. Oh, is that what they say?
Yeah. And I'm telling you now, on Saturday night, January 24th, people are going to be watching at home who's never seen him before. About 30 seconds into his walkout are going to be going, Oh, Patty the baddie. It's just, it's very just, what's the word I'm looking for? uh,
Uh,
Contagious. It's very
yeah, yeah.
contagious. It's
Mhm.
contagious. It's infectious. It's contagious. When Patty
Infectious is the
comes out,
word. Mhm.
you're fixated on the screen as to this kid that looks like a beetle
Mhm.
that can actually fight. You're
Yeah.
fixated on that. So I get it, man. But I'm still not sold on him as a fighter. I'm really not. Like I think that Justin Gaethje's probably going to beat him up. But that's not my point to say that he doesn't deserve an opportunity. He still deserves the opportunity.
Yep. I'm with it. You know, at first I was grumbling as myself, but I'm like, you know, what else are they going to do? We already knew how they felt about Armin, and they feel that there's another fight for him to go before he gets there. Clearly, I mean, unless they shelf him for a little bit, but um, yeah, I think that this was the play. You know, this and when we talk about these other fighters, you know, what's their status? Are they already booked? Are they hurt? Are they, you know, are they stylistically, like you said, like there's a lot of moving parts here. And
Yeah,
right now,
it's so many moving parts.
Paramount Premiere, you know,
Yeah.
like it's it, it's it's the time.
And I don't think, honestly, I truly don't think that Armin's fully paying for that miss. Like that's the easy
Mhm.
excuse. That's just the one that we go, sure, man, that's why. Because he had the opportunity to miss it. And you know, and there might be a part of the UFC that believes that, but I mean, you know, John Jones has rearranged entire cards.
Yeah.
But because John Jones is John Jones and he commanded the respect and attention of the entire world when he fought, they were going to move cards around for him.
Hmm.
But Armin doesn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Armin doesn't do that.
This might be helping his stock just playing the waiting game, you know, like this might be building him up.
It will
Just
help
keep
his stock.
winning. Just keep
It will
winning.
it will help his stock. And I'm sure that once this fight is over with, I'm sure Armin will get the opportunity to fight for the belt. I'm almost positive of that because he certainly deserves it now. And then there's no one else ahead of him that can really, because again, it doesn't come down to who's the best. It comes down to who's the best at the time.
Yep.
Like the best full on broad spectrum, who's the best option at that time. Not necessarily who's the best fighter, but the best option in terms of the full spectrum at the time. And just as of right now, Armin is not the best option at the time when there's a guy named Paddy Pimblett who's going to, like I said, whose energy is infectious. And then the human highlight reel.
You know, it's almost, I would love to see Armin fight the loser of this fight. I think that if he wins, that solidifies everything and it gives a lot of people things to talk about what could have happened, you know, and but I think that the timing won't play in his favor because I can't, well, Gaethje might retire. Um, and if Patty loses, he's probably not going to fight for like 5 months.
Probably more than, if Paddy wins, if well, depending on the situation, right? Let's say if Paddy wins and they want to bring Armin in, I think Paddy makes him wait and
Yeah.
goes, but just because of all the trash talk, just like he's going to make him wait longer than he wants to, which might force him into another fight. If
And his
Paddy
victory
loses and they
tour.
want and let's say Ilya comes back and Paddy loses, again another situation, Paddy's going to make Armin wait. Like he's
Hmm.
see that's why you don't really want to be a douchebag in this game
Yeah.
because these guys won't fight you. They're not
Yeah.
going to want to go in business with you.
What's Ilias? Just, I know he's got the court case. Has there been any lens as to when he's coming back yet or no? We're still waiting on that.
I think everybody is still waiting on that. No
Yeah.
one really knows what his timeline looks like.
Okay. Okay.
I'm curious as to when he comes back because and if he wants to come back sooner rather than later, I mean, that's just a nightmare for Armin.
Yeah.
That'll be a complete nightmare for Armin. So I'm sure Armin is like, I hope the winner of this fight wants to turn it around fast because if they want to turn it around fast,
He's the guy.
he's the guy, and I'm sure they can do it fast. But if Paddy wins, there's no way Paddy's going to want to turn it around fast just to do Armin a favor.
Agreed. Agreed. He's going to go on that victory tour. he blows up after fights.
He's gonna go on that Dunkin' Donuts tour.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna see him every podcast. He's gonna be throwing out the first pitch at like every Major League Baseball park.
Yep. Yep. It's true, man. And that's why, and again, I don't really necessarily think it's just because Arman's like paying for his sins of pulling out of a fight or headbutting Dan Hooker. I really don't think it's that. I mean, obviously those weigh into it, but when you're that dude, like when you are him, you know what I'm saying? When you are Brad Pitt, you can get away with little shit. When
Yeah.
you're Conor McGregor, you can get away with little shit like that. But when you're not, they're not looking at, man, this guy's got a really good darce. They don't care.
And on top of that too, like Dan Hooker, and I hate to criticize, like that was a great performance for Arman, but it's not a great win really anymore. I feel like I can't remember the last time Daniel Hooker really beat somebody that was, oh shit, like a top 10, top 15. That like he's an exciting fighter. He takes all these fights, but it was a bit of a push. I feel like he
Yeah,
looked
like
good though. He looked like he's improving, Arman. He put on a great performance, but it wasn't really a great win. Um, so we'll see.
it's gonna be it'll, and I really feel bad for him because I do believe he's the best fighter in the world, but he's also young,
Yeah.
so he can still rack up his reputation and his stock doing these wrestling matches and these grappling matches. And if he's patient and stays healthy, he'll get his shot.
He
He'll get
will.
his shot.
We'll get it there.
So, anything else?
Kind of. I mean, I know I sent you my report on identity first systems
Yeah.
that team sports can learn through MMA. I'm very proud of the report. It's going to be published on FSU Coach in the near future. However, I realized I tried too hard. And what I mean by that is, and you had, and I actually, I know you had stuff to say about it, and I love what you said. Um, so that report was supposed to be, I did want it to sound scholarly and academic. Um, but also I wanted to speak to coaches and those building team sports at the professional and collegiate level. I had lunch today and I watched some football with a friend of mine who's a very successful lawyer, very smart guy, but he's also a football coach. He coached state champion football team, and he's like, "Yeah, I read your report." He goes, "You're gonna have to dumb it down for me though." And I'm like, "Oh, I tried too hard." So he goes, and I kind of got the concept, but yeah, I couldn't. But now this is a lawyer saying that, so not just a football
Damn.
coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so I gotta. I'm gonna be on the FSU Coach podcast talking to Dr. Tim Baghurst about it. He liked it. He said he saw some flaws in it too, but I gotta dumb it down a little bit. So what did you think about it? What was some of the stuff you
No, I
thought?
thought it was good, and
Mhm.
and I mean, I think we're on this. Where did you graduate college?
Well, I got an associate's. I don't have a bachelor's. I got an
Okay.
associate's at Broward, and
Okay, so we're on the same boat here,
yeah.
and I think we suffer from the same, uh, the same
Complex.
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, no, I think that's a strong word for it.
Yeah, I think we
Mhm.
suffer from that in terms of our intellect at times, and then we feel like we have to go a little overboard because we don't have these degrees and we're not educated like some of these other guys. But
Yeah.
I think they want to be talked to just the way we talk to each other anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's why they talk to us in the first place. I forget
Yeah.
that. I forget that. But yeah, no, I'm pumped about it. I'm working in that athletic coaching development space, and just I'm having a lot of fun with it. So, and I think you know why else I wanted to write that, Dean, is, and I think that people are getting past it now, but I feel like people look at MMA, and then clearly that's not true. You and I are proof of that. We spoke at a university coaches clinic, but I feel like people look at MMA still as um it's just they're fighters and they're brutes, and but there's so much more to MMA, and I really truly believe that team sports and other sports could look at, like, we are a legitimate sport where there's legitimate strategy, legitimate fight IQ or game IQ that we have to offer other sports when they're talking about cross collaboration, and that's another reason why I wanted to write it.
Yeah. Well, my guy Mike from Spiral Combat, I've
Hmm.
been talking to him a lot. I mean, this guy is just the stuff he's doing now, like, because he's using a lot of AI and simulation, and like
Yeah.
his stuff is just completely otherworldly, and it's way ahead of what I think most guys are doing in terms of the direction and the evolution of the game. But like you said, it's not just from a fight perspective and just this brute perspective. I mean, it's so well thought out and sophisticated, some of the stuff this guy's doing. I don't know if you've been following him, but
I will now.
Yeah, he's really creative in terms of the messages that he sends out every day. And he's like, Dean, brother, I got so many messages just in the can waiting. I'm like, what else could you possibly have? But he's got so much other stuff that's like, every time he comes out with stuff, it's so listenable too. Like, it's easy to listen to. So like, yeah, so like, just watch some of his videos. I mean, they're short, 30 seconds, 45-second videos. Just watch some of them, and maybe you can take some cues as to how intellectual he gets with it, and you go, all right, this is about as much as I want to get with it too.
Yeah, don't cross that line.
Yeah. I don't need to. Yeah, I don't need to be all that scientific with it, because these guys, they won't pick it up.
Yeah, I definitely listen. Actually, if you could, I revamped the report. I added to it. I refined it to put a little bit of a rebuttal piece in there and a little bit more of an explanation. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
And also, if you could send it to him, I'd love to see what he thinks about it.
Yeah, and that too, in terms of just keeping everything simple. And when I first started MMA, when I had my thing, MMA Scouting Report. Me and Rolly Delgado did that back in 2015 or whenever it was. And we were writing reports, and it was just too much for people.
Yeah.
It was just too much. So then I taught myself how to edit on video, and now it was just like bullet points with the video. So it was just so much easier for people. So just understanding, like, no matter how good it is what you're trying to present to people. If it doesn't communicate effectively to them, then it won't get heard.
It's like this with the YouTube. We have great content, but we got to figure out a great thumbnail.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, just because the content is the content. Like, I'll say something here, and then I'll dumb it down and say it on Mike Bond's show, and then it'll get 20 million view impressions, and I'm like, I said the same thing on my show. But cool. All right, is that it?
That's it. We're coming up. We're gonna do a preview show next week for the following week that you're gonna be busy with. A lot of good stuff coming up. Going to be a great 2026 for the UFC.
Great 2026. I can't wait. I'm headed to Vegas on my next show. I'll already be in Vegas the next time I'll chop it up with you guys.
Great.
It's going to be great.
Awesome.
Well, all right, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed it today, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe. As always, tell your friends. And on that note, this court is adjourned.